Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is Game of Thrones Season 8 final episode, and this is the live fan after party. And by after party, I mean that we're going to be relatively constructive. And first of all, you'll see what I mean. Before we get too far into it, I do want to give a shout out to all the Patreon Army. You can see them up there. Patreon Army just does a lot of stuff for his channel. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. And I want to jump into something. Before we get into the after party, look, it's going to be very casual tonight. It's story time. I'll tell you guys a quick story. So there's two people, and they both walk into a casino, and they have $1. And one person puts $1 in a slot machine, and they win $1,000. And they say, "Oh my God, I just won $1,000." And then there's another person who puts $1 in, and they win $1,000. And they say, "Oh man, if I would have just done that, I would have won more." And I think anytime you do what we do, and you see it from this side, and you see this perspective, whether it's Rick, whether it's The Walking Dead, whether it's Game of Thrones, endings and stories are a matter of perspective. It's a matter of what you like, what you need, what you enjoy. This has served me very, very well. When I'm watching someone else's show, I'm a fan of that show. I put on the seatbelt, and I'm along for the ride. I don't try to manipulate their show. I don't try to write the show for them. I enjoy the show. Now, there's minor criticisms, absolutely. But part of being a fan is taking the good with the bad. It's their story. It's their journey. We are the viewers of that story and that journey. Just a little food for thought. All right, so with that being said, I did post a survey. So I got you. Anna's like, as soon as I go constructive, Anna's like, John's ending was a waste of a hero. That just like completely just water off the duck's back. But anyway, we're going to transition it. We're going to transition over to the constructive parts of the show last night. I appreciate that, Casey. Your timing is not lost. But instead of half the people here saying, I thought it sucked, I thought it was great, I thought it sucked, we're not going to do an hour-long stream where people are just like, I thought it sucked and I thought it was great. That's not constructive. We're going to get into specifics. And before we get into the critiques and the areas that we could have done a little bit better, that we could have written a little bit better, we're going to talk about some of the beauty of the franchise, some of the things that we like, some of the things that we appreciated. See, because in structuring a stream, if we can get everybody on a similar page, we can find the commonalities to the show, and then we can find some minor differences that we liked and we didn't like. Fair enough? All right. Because otherwise it's going to be, hey, I liked it, I didn't like it. Well, you suck. Well, I don't suck. Well, that's not going to get anywhere. Tom Ferreira says, I knew Drogon wasn't going to die. Yeah, I mean, we thought he'd fly away into the nether, the far blue yonder, all of that stuff. All right. So, yeah, I've got notes from last night. I thought there were some really neat things that went down. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is of last night's show specifically. What was the part that you enjoyed the most? It doesn't have to be shocking. I'm not looking for, I know some people were saying Dany's death was predictable. I was okay with it being predictable. I didn't need to be shocked anymore. I've been shocked all throughout these 8 seasons. I think the story needed to come to a close, and that was closure, right? So, specifically, Jim says closure. Stacey Piper liked the ghost reunion. Princess Pie, the ghost reunion. Casey says the scene where Dany looked like she had dragon wings. Brienne's doing the story of Jaime. And I saw some of the comments today. It was like, no, she closed the book and the ink was not dry. So, yeah, we find everything, right? Melting the throne. The callback lines from season 1. Anything with Arya, says Lewis. Choosing the new king. Someone was in the stream last night, and it was a reaction stream, so it was typically more emotional than some of the other streams we do, and just would not let it go. It was like, could not accept Bran as the king. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm a citizen of King's Landing, and I could go back one day in time, and I had a choice between Dany being the queen or Brandon Stark being the king, 10 times out of 10, I'm going to choose Bran Stark. Sorry. I mean, there's something about me that doesn't like being turned into toast. So I'm okay. There was also some conversation around Jon. Okay, you can't force Jon to be a king. And after assassinating the queen, whether she deserved it or not, technically it's still treason, and he really wasn't in a position to pardon himself. So, yeah, that kind of worked out in a weird way. So, I'm going to give you a couple other options. Casey and Emmy, I would have to say it's probably in regards to what I just mentioned. I think being the heir to the throne, and he technically wasn't recognized as that, he still killed her. And he wasn't in a position to make that call. I know it's a technicality, but I guess at that point it was like, hey, we moved on. Real quick question. If you had to choose between Bran and Sansa as the ruler, who would you choose? Lewis says, Varys died for nothing. That sucks. Well, it's Tyrion's fault. Yeah, I mean, I think most are going to take Bran. Hey, Bran ain't looking so bad now, is he? All right, Jim says, it does leave a question. If Bran knew the end from the beginning, is he evil? He stated during the council, what do you think I came all this way for? I think Bran knew the outcome, but it's almost like okay, I'll give you another analogy. How many people, and hopefully you've seen The Avengers, if not, I'm sorry. How many people caught a little bit of Bran in that whole Doctor Strange thing? Did you guys feel a similarity between that? Because when I heard that, I was like, that's Avengers. That's exactly what Doctor Strange just did. I'm going to let that kind of sink in just for a minute or two. People are like, huh? What are you talking about? All right. So just because he knew the outcome, exactly, Jim, that's my point. He knew the outcome, but he couldn't change it. It had to play out a certain way. So, I mean, I got to tell you, there was a lot of restraint on Bran's behalf, Bran the Broken, of not chiming in and saying, hey, no, this duck, this is coming at your head, or such and such is going to die. And if he would have manipulated some of those things, then the ultimate outcome of Dany dying might not have happened. So think about this. Bran prevents a few things, and next thing you know, Jon is not in that position, and Dany lives forever, and everybody's just at her mercy. Jennifer Flaherty says, do you think Sansa would have declared the North a separate kingdom if she was elected queen of the Seven Kingdoms? Absolutely not. She she is primed for a villain role in my mind. I think there was just enough disdain for her character. Look, if you like Sansa, you like Sansa. But I think for the most part, there's just enough reservation about who she is that if they want to roll, in the future, a year or two down the road, they want to finish telling a little bit more of the story. Yeah. William, the Walking Dead billboard, says, "What's up, ladies? What's up, fellas?" And, of course, kills. So, I heard a good analogy today. And some of you are going to feel like this, and it's fine. And this person said, "Kills, I felt like somebody that I've been in a relationship for 8 years just sent me a text message and broke up with me. That's the way I feel about the finale." I said, fair enough. That's fair. I got no problem with that. But, see, for me it was different. And the reason it was different for me is because I felt it was enough closure, enough the Starks kind of win a little bit, and enough, maybe they're giving me a year off to sort of regroup, and then they're going to reel me back in with something else. Because if the series were to continue, let me say this. How do you know this is an ending? To the people that are Twitter freaking out, doing all of those things, how do you know it's over? Let's take the literal title of the series. It's Game of Thrones. There is no battle for the throne. In fact, there isn't even a throne. So if next year they come out with a series with the same actors or most of the same cast and call it Battle for Night Watch, whatever, how many people would watch to see what the hell's going on with Jon? And maybe in episode number 1 of the Battle of Night Watch, you see that all the White Walkers have not been killed. Maybe there's a new threat. So, to me, it's semantics. It's very possible they didn't end it the way you wanted to end it because it's not over. And if they would have ended it the way you wanted to end it, would they be able to restart it? That's my question. So, some of you that wanted something different, give me something different that you wanted. Let's analyze it a little bit. And then let's take your ending and see if it could be jump-started to a new beginning. So I saw Dark Star a little bit ago, and it was, I'm sure it was off-the-cuff comment, but it was something along the lines of, oh, they should have killed everyone except 2 or 3 of them. Well, you wouldn't be able to have another series, would you? That ain't going to work. So Natalie, can we please find out where Drogon went? So what if we kill Drogon? Anybody here want the dragon to die? Nah, Jennifer. You can't ask an open-ended question like that because, and I'm being facetious, but because that would lead to another story, right? Wilson expected Grey Worm and Jon to fight. How do you know they won't? So my question is, Wilson, and you said expected, you didn't say needed, but did we need them to fight? If Jon would have killed Grey Worm, what would have happened to all the Unsullied? We just kill all of them too? So maybe there's a story that still has to be told. And how do we know that story won't be told for another 8 years or 10 years? I didn't see an ending. I saw some closure. What I saw last night, and if you only watched it one time and you watched it from a negative perspective, I would challenge you to go back and watch it as if it was the first episode of a brand new series. So, would that change your perspective? So let's say this is not Game of Thrones Season 8 final episode. It's a brand new series with a brand new name, and it's episode number 1. What potential stories do we have to discuss? Casey, it didn't feel like a finale to me. When people are saying it's a little rushed and it's such a paradox. And Casey, this is what I would say to you. If it were a finale, why didn't we see like 90-year-old Jon Snow? Why didn't they just time skip it and show Arya as a 60-year-old woman and graves of everybody around there? And I'm being silly, but I'm also being serious. It wasn't a finale. There's no way this was a finale. It was a transition. It was a transition from the Game of Thrones to what's next. And I guarantee you, the people who are bashing the ending will be the same people if there's a good story that can be told for another 5, 6, 10 years. We'll be watching the series all over again. William, 909 Billboard. This was left open for something big. William, this might... I haven't done the research on this. Could we safely say that Game of Thrones is probably the greatest money-making television series of all time? Would you guys agree with that? I mean, statistically, we can go look it up. I mean, there's no doubt it's gotten more views, more fans, more... No doubt about it. Jim says, I thought we would see them old because the crypt statues they built. But we didn't. So, I mean, that should be a clue. Okay. So, when half the Avengers got disintegrated... Didn't you guys think that there would be something else after that? I mean, you didn't think they were going to leave half the Avengers dead, right? So we've got stories of Jon is still the rightful heir to the throne. Jon's at Night's Watch. Bran is the king. Sansa is not a big fan of Bran being the king. Arya is off on a boat, exploring new adventures. There's some depth there. Now, Grey Worm. We don't know what's going on with Grey Worm. And I'm not going to say it has to be Game of Thrones Part 2. But there certainly can be other magic or other forces or other stories that can tag onto this. So let's go back from the finale, or the transition, whatever we want to call it. So season 8. What were your favorite moments from season 8? Let's get some thoughts in this video. Favorite moments from season 8. Well, it could, Casey, but the TV show is always going to vary from the books. And I don't know about you, but if you got $1 billion franchise and you got millions of people that want to watch, I'm pretty sure you find a way to keep the story going. A lot of people really liked Arya killing the Night King. A lot of fans in that episode, though. It's too dark. Couldn't really tell what was going on. Didn't like it. You know, when I heard that, my question is, I just want to know, is there ever anything in life that you like? Or does everything have a negative context to it? So I'm glad this is not that group. I'm glad this is the group that can find some good. Because if you're on episode 6 in season 8 and you say, "Oh, the whole season sucked," then I'm thinking like, well, why the hell did you keep watching? Do you just like to be miserable? Do you just like pain? Xavier, Winterfell battle by far. Yeah, Winterfell battle was good. I mean, that had me at the edge of my seat. The Dany torching King's Landing, it was just like, stop it already. It's enough. It just got to a point where it was just like, ugh. She was just over the edge. So, how many people were a little frustrated that Jon kind of wimped out for a long time? You're like, Jon, you going to do something? You going to step up? I mean, why did it take him so long, right? How many people were a little bit kind of miffed at that? So, very indecisive. Love is blinding. Wanted to smack him, says Natalie. Okay, so when should he have killed her? You guys pick up your pens right now, and I want you to write the story for me. Didn't like it. Jon wimped out. So when should he have killed her? Ando, my biggest question is Jon joining the Night's Watch. Big question is, what is the Night's Watch watching for now? I'm confused. It's a good question. We'll get to that in 1 second, Ando. See, Crystal, now you're doing what I need you to do. I don't think he wimped out. He was in love. When you truly love someone, you don't want to see the bad in them. I think he was in denial at first. So, of all the frustration, I'm not picking on the people like me. Natalie said I want to slap him. See, that's the comment I'm looking for. I didn't like Jon's reaction. I didn't like it took him forever. But I understood him. And I didn't want to change it. And I want to go back in time and have him kill her and save all those people because it needed to happen. It was part of the story. So when something doesn't go your way in a story, you just can't, spew it out without having a backup. Like, oh, that sucked. Okay. What would you have changed about it is my question. Got a couple more super chats. I'm going to get back to Ando in a second. Tyler Bradley. Can't stay for the rest of the stream, but I watched the playback. You guys have fun. Long live the Queen of the North. I love it. I love it. We got one Sansa fan in here. Tom Ferreira. Dany became voyeuristic. No, I don't know. She became voyeuristic. I think she became insane. And back to Ando. So, Ando, I guess the question is, it's like, just in case. I mean, the Night's Watch was there. I don't know. Look, I only binge watched it one time, so don't check me on my Game of Thrones lore. They were there for a long, long time. And just in case something happened. And you know what? Something happened. So, how do we know? Now, if it's that long again, Jon Snow won't be there the second time around because if it's hundreds of years, he's dead. But, there's got to be some new dangers out there. I don't think the TV show is just like a virus that you get rid of. I mean, I think there's evil all throughout. I mean, we dealt with multiple layers of evil. It wasn't just the Night King. It's Ramsay. I mean, there's the Baratheons. I mean, there were people that had some bad judgment and did some bad things. There can be other people that do the same thing. I certainly think the table is set for it. June Smith. Army, if I had my way, John would have found Rick, brought him to me, and we would all sit on the throne together happily. Very well said, June Smith. Would you guys do me a favor? Who's our super fan of the month? Can you guys give me a June Smith emoji? We got another 10 days, June. I want to see that emoji. Tom Ferrara says, Charles Dance is going to be in the new Godzilla movie. Tom, what do you think about the new Godzilla movie? You going to watch it like opening night? I might wait. I might wait and get it on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure I'm going to be there on opening day. Kitty Cat. Jaime lives and gets with Brienne. I'm pretty sure Jaime already got with Brienne. So, Kitty Cat, what you want is you want to make Jaime Lannister into Jon Snow. Because that's not Jaime Lannister. And I really, if Jaime would have stayed, see, Kitty Cat, let's go ahead and do this. All right? I want to take one segment because at least Kitty Cat had the courage to rewrite it. And I said we'd call on a few people. So let's rewrite it. Let's just say Jaime would have stayed with Brienne. All right? How would that have changed? Let's do the butterfly effect. How would that have changed the whole story? It wasn't just a one-night stand. So Jaime's back at Winterfell. So Euron Greyjoy would still be alive, right? Jaime would have been miserable. He would have made Brienne of Tarth's life miserable. And every morning he would have woke up and said, "Oh man, yes, this is great. I really miss Cersei. Oh, we can work it out. We can work it out. Okay." And then he, wakes up another day, misses Cersei again. I mean, everything is cause and effect. And when in doubt like that, Kitty Cat, I got no problem with the writers being true to Jaime's character. And to leave him in Winterfell and to leave him alive would have certainly complicated things. Tyrion would... Exactly, Jim. So Tyrion wouldn't have been arrested for treason. Tyrion would not have been in that jail to talk to Jon. Jon would not have killed Dany. Dany would have torched the whole world. Jaime would have died in Brienne's arms via dragon breath. There you go. See, that's how it works out. So sometimes when you're the writer, it's not so easy, is it? So somebody... Who's bold enough to go next? We got Tom Ferrer also says, I know Godzilla should have been the one to sit on the Iron Throne. No, Tom. The throne was too small for Godzilla. It would need to be a bigger throne. So, any other storylines that you think needed to be massively changed? Well, Natalie... Bringing Jon back to life. Jon killed Daenerys. Jon was probably the only one that could get close enough to kill her. Imagine if Euron faced the Hound. Yeah, that would have been... I would have been over in a hurry, I think. Yeah, Julia, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, there's multiple reasons. But I mean, ultimately, Jon is the one that liberated everybody. And then he got arrested for it. The fate of Jon Snow. Julie said, Jaime and Cersei would have moved 10 feet to the right, they would have lived. That can somebody give Julie McGuire a kills coin, please? Can you guys vote that in? That might be the greatest comment ever. And it's so true. Because I mean there were no rocks over there. All right, Julie's on the list. That's the first one of the week. Very nice. Well done. That's a good point, Wilson. I mean, yeah, there were other ways to get in. So, look, certainly, hey, there's a Starbucks cup, so anything is fair game. All right, so a couple more things that maybe you might have been unhappy with last night. Let's get the, I don't do vague comments. Vague comments do nothing for me. Hey, I hate that place. Well, what do you hate about it? I don't know. I just hate it. I need specifics. So let's talk about it. I mean, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to talk about what what would have happened if Jaime would have stayed behind. Cersei would have died, and I personally thought, this is me, not everybody agrees, I thought it was a great moment between Jaime and Cersei. I thought all the bravado, all the the power, all the circumstance, all the evil, it was just like a boy and a girl there. I mean, it was nothing else. And he said, "Look at me. That's all that matters." And in that moment, I forgot all the sinister stuff they did. I honestly, I didn't care about it. I knew they were going to die, and and it depends on your perspective. Some people wanted suffering, and they're like, Cersei deserved to die a hard death because of what she did to Missandei, and all of those things. I get it, but I mean, who am I? Who am I to deny somebody 5 seconds of happiness? Because the thing you have to understand about Cersei, she was miserable. She wasn't happy. Even though she was power hungry, I think she got no enjoyment out of all that. She thought it was her destiny. She kind of went with it. So just a real quick question, just to kind of make it real. Have you guys ever went down a path or went down something and you knew you probably shouldn't have kept going down that, or somebody that did, and it might not you don't have to share it, but maybe it's like, I shouldn't have had this extra drink, or I shouldn't have shouldn't have bet on that. Anyway, you just you go with the flow. There was an element of that where you get sucked into it that I saw in Cersei. She when she laughed, it was more of a wicked laugh. It wasn't a, hey, I'm really having a good time on the throne. See, I never saw her walking around high-fiving the teams like, hey, you know what? We're going to change this. We're going to change that. We're going to starve out a few people. We're gonna kill someone today. We got all these things going on. You guys go ahead, get in positions, make this happen. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3, team. It was never that. It was just kind of very, I don't know. I can kind of see it playing out. Very smug, very snide, like, do you have any last words? Or whatever. It's kind of like that. And then just kind of a grin, ha ha ha, I'm powerful, that type of thing. But it wasn't that genuine, like, I like my job type of thing. I don't think she liked her job. So to go through that over and over and over again, and I'm not condoning what she did, but I was okay with the ending. I'm okay with Jaime giving her a brief moment of closure. Oh, Tommy Brokeback McCandless has jokes. Kitty Cat honestly thought Tyrion was going to be revealed as a Targaryen. Yeah, Jaime loved her. She, as bad as she was, they were getting ready to lose their baby. It's a moment. Wasn't there a kills coin contest to the first stream that Tommy was back in, joining us as a moderator, being back here? I briefly remember a challenge. Oh, Princess Pie already said it. Okay. All right. There you go. There's a kills coin. Sorry. I missed it. It probably went straight over. You guys got to let me know these things. Boom. Good job. Man, that must happen like... See, now I know. Now I know who's paying attention in the streams. Good job. What'd you guys think of the dialogue between Jon and Dany? Was that impactful to anybody? There were 4 words that were said in the middle of that conversation. There were more than 4 words. But if anybody can get the 2 words I'm looking for that Jon said and the 2 words that Dany said, I will also, not "You're still my queen." Jon said 2 words to Dany, and Dany said 2 words back. And that's when you knew fate had been sealed. Let's see. This is going to be a tougher one. I'll give some hints. I'll lead you guys in a little bit. You always be my aunt. It's pretty good. Okay. I'll give another hint here. This is for another kills coin. Jon said 2 words to Dany and asked her to do something to all the prisoners. And then she responded. To me, that was something that got lost, and obviously it got lost on a lot of people, but I started and highlighted it. There you go, Mitch. You got half of it. Give me the other half. Jon said, forgive them. And what did she say? I can't. All right. We'll do kills coins for Crystal and also for Mitch. So you guys got to be ready on Friday. That moment, and go back and watch that and watch the struggle that she was going through. Forgive them. And she said, I can't. It was in that moment where there's no going back. Now, the sad irony is that Dany did not get the same justice, or not justice. She didn't get the same luxury that Cersei got. I think that's a little bit of sad irony. However, where did Drogon take Dany? And I'll just throw this out there. Any chance there could be some mystical, magical voodoo? Ray Beard thinks that wounded dragons can go into salt water and then they can be healed. Any chance? I mean, Jon's been brought back. Have we seen the last of Dany? Give me your thoughts in chat right now. She dead for good? Some people are saying she'll be back. Interesting. So, if there's the slightest chance Mark's is taken to another Red Witch, how do we know? Right, Mark? Jon's at Night's Watch. The Night Queen? Exactly, Laura Brown. Could we have a future Night Queen? Princess Pie says she was stabbed in the heart like Jon. Maybe the dragon has the power to make her live again. So a few people are saying it's possible. Like more than a few people. There you go. Touche, William. Good bailout. Takes 2 to 4 weeks for the salt water to take effect. I love it. So we got 2 dragons still living, right? Okay. So now we're going to float a Night Queen theory. So I ask you again. If Dany were to become the Night Queen, if she's still alive out there, we didn't see her body disintegrate. We saw Drogon fly away with her. Does that not scream future spinoff? And if that were to come to fruition, doesn't that make this episode a little bit better? And I'm directing this question at the people that wanted, they said, I didn't get enough closure for it. But the fact that she's out there, I would think that would, hey, wait a minute. Maybe this isn't the end of it. Or, if you're kind of, if you're still butthurt about the fact that Game of Thrones is over, maybe this was sending a message to everybody that it's not over. It's like Rick in the helicopter. Exactly. Good job, Emmy. June Smith is going to absolutely love that comment. And Jim followed up with a super chat. She flew away just like Rick. So Natalie says, hey, if we get a spinoff, yes. Then it's a different perspective. So what I would say is just don't be angry about it for a year. Just kind of reserve judgment a little bit. Well, the thing about Jon going back to Night's Watch is if Dany does become the Night Queen, it's like, I know where to find that son of a bitch. He's exactly where he should be. It's, it's not like he's going to hide. Sorry, I threw a little Daryl Dixon in there. All right, so now we got some possibilities. So it makes sense for Jon to go back and guard the wall. Dany's flying somewhere, and we don't know if she's dead. Arya's got her own adventures in the world. She's off to the sea to see what's west of Westeros. We got Sansa, that she's not happy about the way things went down, and she just made her own region because she couldn't blend in with everybody else. So I like it. I still think there's enough story to be told. Not ready to funnel it down just yet, but there are some possibilities. All right, everybody. Hey, we're at 50 minutes. So you guys do me a favor. If you guys had a good time with Game of Thrones, and we did our reactions last night, we have the after party tonight just to kind of enjoy talking about it, getting a little bit of our thoughts out there. We'll probably do a, we'll add another Game of Thrones stream just to do some bold predictions before we get some insight or some intel. I'm sure there'll be some rumors. But If you guys are ready to talk a little bit of Fear of the Walking Dead, and you're ready to get back into the Walking Dead franchise, then let me know. Give me a quick hell yeah or a 999 or something in chat. And tell you what, we'll get together tomorrow night and we'll start talking about some things. We got this new guy, Logan, out there. Could be a villain. Got Daniel. Got the Whitey boy. Looks like Fear is going to be really, really good and a little bit reckless this season. All right. So, hey, thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate everything that you guys do. Quick shout out. You guys can see the patrons in the top left-hand corner. Amazing group. If you guys are interested in becoming a patron, it's a third-party website. Polls, surveys, a little bit extra. There's a link down below. Channel members, my green team. Thank you for everything that you guys do. Green team gets custom emojis. And also, once you hit a 6-month channel membership, we got you listed in the top right. Moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, always do a great job. Quick shout out, everybody, for the mods. The mods did some serious work with Game of Thrones. So, I mean, this was new for us this season. And the mods are right here. A lot of knowledge, a lot of participation, a lot of dedication. So if you guys could just give me a quick shout out to all the mods. And I want to give a shout out to each and every one of you in the 999 Armies. Great to be back with all of you. You guys have been extremely patient over the last couple weeks as my schedule has been a little bit crazy. I'm going to try to be much, much more consistent. You guys know, life happens, and we got to be ready when it does. But I'm looking to be here as many nights we possibly can, starting with we'll be here tomorrow night. So I want to thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Thanks for all the shout-outs to the mods. I see some Cuervo Queen being represented. I see the Dancing Unicorn. We got Man Bun, Kel, everybody. So thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you all at 9:30 tomorrow night. Have a good night. Peace.